I'm Jay Firestone, and welcome to the set of our show, Lost Girl. We have a rare opportunity today to talk to our cast about the first 2 seasons of the show, give you a bit of a refresher, and we're going to tease you about what's coming up in season 3. Hi, guys. Thank you, guys, for doing this. Well, we have to introduce some people to our show. I think the best way to do it is do something we do quite regularly.
Moon each other. I'm so excited.
Before each episode, we do what in the industry is called a read-through. We sit down with the script and we see if the script works. But before we even start that, we all introduce ourselves because there's always somebody new at the table. So since you guys are new at the table today, I'm going to run around and I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves like we always do.
I'm Rick Allen, I play Trick.
I'm Zoe Palmer, I play Dr. Lauren Lewis.
I'm Anna Silk, and I play Bo.
Chris Holden-Reed, Dyson.
Ksenia Solo, Kenzie.
Casey Collins, Haley.
All right. This show has probably been the most fun I've ever had, and it has been a wild couple of seasons. All your characters have gone through pretty big arcs, changes, a lot of drama. Your lives have also changed a fair bit with the success of this show. So if it's okay, and I'll start with you, but if we can go around the table, I'd love to know how your characters evolved and how it's affected you.
You know, Bo has affected me as much as I think I've affected her. You know, I've sort of learned along with Bo. That's been a gift of this character for me. It's been a very organic role because she sort of started out very naive and grew from there, and I kind of felt like I got to take that journey with her. So I feel like I probably give Bo a little bit more humanity, and she makes me a tougher Anna in the real world.
How am I supposed to beat these guys?
You'd be faster. You'd be smarter. They're going to underestimate you. Use that to your advantage.
I misjudged you. You got any other advice?
Don't get dead.
No, Dyson was a great challenge, you know. It's like the older character, you know, 1,000-year-old guy, and just trying to tap into some of them, you know, the faux wisdoms that I've learned throughout my life, and just, yeah, pretend that I knew better.
Ksenia, it's a different role for you.
Yes. I've never played the comedic relief before, and I was terrified. Every episode, I'm still terrified. 3 years into it, I'm like, I'm not going to be funny.
Did you bring home elves last night? I'm not judging. I just want to know.
I think it was the great poet, Ludacris, who said, regret is for suckers, for suckers, for suckers. Regret is for suckers, bitch.
Casey.
You know, with regards to Hale, I mean, obviously he started out as
Totally awesome.
Just a kind of yeah. What happened, right? Yeah, what happened? It's like that kid that grows up and you're like, what happened? He was no.
He used to be so adorable.
Yeah, right, exactly. I know what it's like hanging with an alpha dog, okay? Still, I do all right. Lots of loose, leftover lovelies for the H-bomb. You know, he was a lovable type of character. And, of course, then, you know, season 2, things kind of get a little rough on him, and he kind of has to wolf out a little bit, right?
This is ridiculous. You don't understand.
No, this is our shot, Dad. To stop the petty grievances with each other and unite the clans. To fight the real threat.
Different role for you?
Yeah, very different role. Yeah, normally, I mean, I like the difference between Trick and I, where I'm a little more kind of frenetic and talk with my hands. And what I've learned from Trick, I think, is a better ability at keeping a secret. Because I'm usually, like most actors, are open books, and I've been an open book a lot of times in my life where I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. And Trick has really taught me, it's like, you know what? I don't have to say all those things.
You were not shitting about the lightning part.
I try not to shit about things.
Zoe, super hot, super smart.
That's been a challenge. That's been a big challenge, but I've tried to rise to the occasion. I don't know, you know, I think playing Lauren has been, the biggest challenge has been the fact that I've learned along with the audience about her. And so there was a lot of times in season 1 where I didn't really know her motives either, and like the connection with Bo and whether or not, how sincere she was and that sort of thing. And I think for a long time I had to sort of walk the line on how to play her, you know, which was frightening because I never really knew if it was the right choice. So it was kind of always a bit of a shot in the dark for a long time. I didn't get advanced scripts, right? So I didn't know if she was evil or not.
We have your best interests at heart.
We? Who's we?
Bo. Were you sent here? Let me explain.
Were you sent here?
I'm not as cerebral as she is. She's a really cerebral character, but it certainly has brought out the nerdy side of me, which I think I have in spades, actually.
If we can find the original source of infection, theoretically, I can use a sample to create an antitoxin.
You guys have all had a lot of fan reactions on the streets, and I am quite stunned at how dedicated they are.
You know, I always say that you cannot paint a picture of a Lost Girl fan. You can't say exactly what a Lost Girl fan is because it's such a broad audience. Everyone's so different. You know, people come up and say, like, my grandfather loves your show, or we watch it with the whole family, or, you know, my girlfriend and I watch it. And it's, you know, I love that it's so diverse and dynamic enough to draw that many different kinds of people.
And Chris, you had quite a wild time in the first 2 seasons with your own love interest in this show.
I mean, sure did.
You fell in love with Bo. You then gave that up to save her. Right? Second season, you were suffering a lot from that. You found an old girlfriend that they got killed.
And you wonder why Dyson's so dour all the time.
Well, but you jumped Hale's sister. You jumped Hale's sister at one point. He slugged you for it.
Hey, yeah.
And at the end, you got your love back for Bo, and you don't know what to do with it yet. So.
And here we thought we were just making lighthearted TV.
Yeah. How did you handle all that roller coaster ride for your own emotions of that?
You know what? It was really fun. Like, honestly, a lot of times in TV, you just get trapped in doing the same thing all the time. And that was the lovely gift about season 2, is that I got to go on an emotional journey with Dyson. I got to, you know, like, you got to suffer and how do you play not being able to feel love or, like, losing your love for someone.
I remember you saying that, too, at the end of season 1. You're like, how do you play the absence of something? You're really kind of wrestling with that. But
yeah, because you don't want to play, like, apathetic. You don't want, I don't feel anything there, so I'm like an android. You need passion still. And it was a struggle, and it was pretty dark for a while. Originally, we didn't think that storyline would last so long, but it was like 20 episodes of like, But, you know, in the end, when I look back, I really like the story that Dyson's gone through. You know, season 1 was so great of us, like, exploring each other and finding and, like, falling in love. And then losing that gives you somewhere to go and play with, so I got to play a whole other side. And then season 3, we shall see what we do with it.
And Zoe, just because we're going to complete this little triangle here, you know, Lauren went through quite a riot. She was like the slave of the ash.
Truth is, the ash held me prisoner. I guess we've both been prisoners for the past 5 years, huh?
No. We found out that you had an old girlfriend. Surprise to everybody.
Love by the light of the Bunsen.
You were tricked into working for the Fae because of her. Bo helped save her, and then Bo ended up killing her.
It was an interesting choice to have Bo kill Nadia, for sure, because it certainly, and we talked a little bit about that, and I certainly thought a lot about it and how to, you know, I mean, gosh, like if you actually think about that scenario, if you had that actually happen, and how do I play that I could ever forgive that?
Producers and writers and everyone came up with a way to do it that didn't
make you the bad guy.
Make Bo so awful, and it made Lauren involved. You know? So that was, I think, that was good.
All right, well, we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we're going to have a lot of questions for the rest of the cast.
Gaia's name are you doing? Going for nuance. You cannot touch the sacred tree.
I guess my bite is worse than your bark.
Welcome back. We're on the set of Lost Girl, talking to our cast, and Ksenia.
Yes, sir.
Every character on this has a special relationship with you. Why Kenzie?
I don't know. I think Kenzie's pretty fearless, and I think she's pretty awesome for being this young, you know, seemingly fragile girl who gets really just thrown into this insane world of scary creatures, and somehow she manages to become, you know, the closest friend to one of the most powerful fae to ever live.
What about me?
Okay, let's get you out of here.
I saw you eat some dude's face. It was amazing.
Just terrific. Let's go. Come on. Let's take it and we're safe.
Bye-bye, Mr. Smiley Face.
She becomes friends with all these other creatures, fays, who could really just kill her, you know, like a fly on the wall, but they don't. And I think after all these seasons, becoming a warrior in her own right. So I really admire her for being this human who comes into this world and has a place in it.
Well, you know, Xenia, you sort of created this character a little differently than I think we initially anticipated. And I have this story I tell everybody about when we were shooting the pilot, and Bo had just killed the Morag, and you run into the room with your sword, and they're sitting there, and you don't have a line.
Jay runs up to me with like a list. He's like, pick one.
I said, pick a line, pick a line, pick a line.
Smells like fried bitch.
And that actually stimulated a fan question, so I'm going to ask it now. It's, let me just see this. It says, Jordan Thane wanted to know, do you ever read Kenzie lines and think, I can't believe I have to say that?
Every day. No, most of the time I think, damn, I get a good line. This will be really fun. So I think, no, I get really excited.
You like it? You like
yeah,
it.
at the read-throughs, I feel like they make me giggle. So I'm like, if I'm giggling, then hopefully everyone else will giggle.
So hard to do.
Giggle?
No,
comedy.
Like the lines, to make those work.
Yeah, comedy.
There's pressure, right? You're like, I gotta deliver. I gotta be funny. What if I'm not funny? This good line goes to waste.
Yeah.
Getting hot just thinking about it.
And you pull it off. She pulls it off at the table read as well, which is even.
Oh no! Now you're just being nice.
Okay, maybe a little bit. Tell me not.
Yeah.
I'm serious. No,
Thank you.
I am. See?
Thanks, Casey.
Do you guys need a minute?
That's okay.
I'm going to pop over to Rick for a sec because you have a very unusual character in this show.
I do.
You ever played a role like this before?
You know, a lot of the roles I've played have been like, they're powerful, but they're always kind of creatures. They're not actually humanoid. And so it's been a real pleasure to look like me somewhat, to not have things glued to my face or whatever. It's nice to be it's really nice to be Trick. I love playing the character.
You have a very special relationship that we revealed this year as grandfather.
Yeah.
Right?
We have this bond.
We do.
And with good reason. Bo, I'm your grandfather.
My grandfather.
It's very, very parental, which, I mean, I'm not a parent, but I certainly I've been able to tap into that, I think, for myself. And definitely a parent guider to Bo, and like I love my scenes with Dyson and Trick.
To the Blood King. Please don't ever call me that.
And you guys have a bond too, because you guys still know so much more than you're saying always.
Yeah, there's a huge history between us. And it's interesting, like, I mean, working with Chris right away, it was like, there it is. We found it immediately. We found some connection that allowed us to give depth to that friendship.
Okay, Casey, I got to ask you now. In season 2, we learned that you have all this nobility, that you're sort of a rich kid, but that you rebelled.
Okay.
And a lot of people are put in that situation where the parents have a preconceived notion of where their kids want to go, join the family business, do something, and they don't necessarily want to follow the path their fathers set for them or mother set for them, and you're that character.
As Santiagos of Clan Zamora, we're all for charity, but there's a limit.
And that limit is cheap, ill-bred mortals.
I enjoyed showing people where he comes from and how he overcomes or overcame, this pressure from his family. And
how'd you like the tension between you and Dyson? That was new. I mean, season 1, you were like best buddies.
Yeah.
Easygoing.
Yeah.
Season 2, you slugged the guy.
Changed my mind. Now it's over. Yeah, I think everyone was with me on that one. You know what I mean? Yeah. Make fun of the rich kid. Take his sister and all that.
I was with you too, man. I deserved it. I knew it.
Because we're going to have to go to another commercial break, but when we come back, guess what we're going to talk about?
What are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about behind the scenes.
From the Preta. Blah, sorry. I swear to God, I'll get this. So, we've never done this before, huh? Just the three of us. Like a threesome. Not that I've thought about it that way or anything, but... Wow.
Welcome back to our Talk with the Cast on Lost Girl. I'm Jay Firestone. Who's the goofiest?
We all crack jokes, but Chris is definitely the goofiest.
Yeah, like Chris is probably the least like his character.
But that doesn't mean I'm funny. It just means I'm a goof.
Oh, no, you're funny. You're funny like in a Kramery kind of way.
That's right. I walk into
Physical
stuff, I fall
comedy.
down a lot.
Every time he walks into a room.
I think the intellectual comedy goes to Zoe Palmer.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're liable to walk in your underwear in like for a scene for a scene where you're not supposed to be in your underwear.
That's true.
No, that'll be fine. Can you hang on? I'll have my noise recover everything in the morning.
I remember once you doing that. You came to the door, and you're supposed to be drunk in the scene. You came to the door and knocked on the door, and Bo opened it, and you had your pants down. And I was like, you know what, Chris? He's going to have to deal with it.
For the scene.
So I didn't stop the scene. I just kept going. I walked in. He's walking behind me like this, trying to keep. I just kept going through the whole scene, just totally normal.
I remember one particular scene, 4 o'clock in the morning, we were all running on fumes. Rick had to finish drawing a circle on the ground.
I was wondering when this would come up.
And honestly, I've never seen...
It was a big circle, right?
It was a huge circle.
Yeah, it wasn't like doing this. It was actually on the floor.
Whatever.
And Mr. Casey.
Mr. Casey
Well, we were all laughing, but it was over.
He couldn't stop.
Because I remember I'm like unconscious in the middle of the circle.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And it was lavender that you were sprinkling around me, and I actually fell asleep. I'm usually very attentive at work day, but it was like 4 in the morning, and I actually fell asleep, woke up on my cue. Fell back asleep. You know, what was cool at this year's Fan Expo is that they played a blooper reel, and we hadn't seen it. So, and it was so much fun to watch it. First of all, to watch it with the audience, that was really, laughing a lot.
Yeah.
But we were laughing a lot too because you forget all those moments, and when they're cut together so quickly, it's we do have a lot of fun.
Ow!
F***ing door.
From the Preta. Blah, sorry. I swear to God, I'll get this.
They may be ping pongs, but they're made of steel.
Or brass. That's better, isn't it? Brass. Brass balls.
Let's do some clogging.
They leave before they can forge their own. So f***ing close.
Good thing it was damaged enough to f***ing hell. What is it? It's Rick. It's f***ing contagious, dude.
If you killed me, it would be gone forever. If you raised me, then what the hell is it? Okay.
All right, well, the fans have asked the question on how you prepare for all your roles. Prep. How do you prep?
You growl.
I growl.
You growl a lot. Do a growl. Do one of your pre...
No.
Can I do it? Can I do it?
You do it.
We all try.
Right before a take.
I forgot one thing, though. The phlegm that flies in my eye.
You're too far away.
I forgot that. No, sure.
Part of the process.
My favorite though is like the growling.
My throat.
The growling is so animated and loud, and then he comes into a scene. He's like, "Oh, I have to tell you." Like, wow. Okay.
What was all that for, right?
I know, but it works for him.
What are the toughest scenes? Toughest. Hardest ones to do.
Sometimes you've just done a crazy fight scene.
Yeah.
And then you come in and you and I shoot a scene that's like really emotional and touching and beautiful, and you've literally seconds earlier spent 6 hours like fighting 10 Fae creatures.
Fight scenes are exhausting. They're fun, but they're really tiring. So those are challenging. And then, I mean, they're all
And then there's also the scenes where we're reacting to things that aren't there, or like we've got all this emotional stuff going on, and then, oh my God, there's a spiritual thing that we're looking at, an X on the line, and we have to react to that, and then something else, and there's something else, there's another being inside of me at the same time. What the hell's going on? Oh no, someone's controlling me, and I'm happy at the same time. But I love you, really, don't I?
The end of season 2, the finale, there's the scene where the Garuda comes out of Trick, or you know, and then flies away or something, and we're all looking.
But he fights it.
And we all had to look at something, and we all did it so differently. We're like, oh, look, how are you doing it? How are you doing it? Because some of us would be like this, and some of us would
then
just
they got something to look at, because
we're
all looking everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. We got some fan question.
Cindy says, I have thoroughly enjoyed following all the actors on Twitter and learning a bit more about them personally and professionally. I'm wondering how each of them feels about the whole Twitter experience. And specifically to Ksenia, why did it take you so long to join Twitter? Right there.
Is it? You didn't make that up? Okay. I'm a very private person. I couldn't come to grips with Twitter for a long time. You guys were all like into it, and I was like, cool, but I don't know if I can share so much of myself. And everyone was.
And now,
yeah, that was what she thought.
Yeah, exactly.
Now she's the more than us. She's on more than us now.
Well, because I'm surprised by the fan response and the experience Twitter is. I didn't think it was what it is. And for me, it's important, like things that I'm an advocate for, things that I really support. I find that the fans have been really supportive as well, and really, you know, are there and are just so good to us. I think we're so lucky.
Question to Jay Firestone. What is the process from script to filming, and which was the first scene that was ever shot?
We were on set, and Anna was supposed to walk down a hall.
Oh, that's right.
This is episode 8. Right? The pilot was episode 8, so it's the first thing we ever shot. And Anna's supposed to be walking down a hall all beat up and bloodied, and we had built like this white box. We were supposed to just walk down 2 doors. And I saw this long hallway, and it had pipes, it had exposed brick, it looked like a real industrial hallway. And I grabbed John Fawcett, who was the director for that episode, and I pulled him over. I said, look at this hallway. And he went, oh my God, can I shoot here? And I went, well, it wasn't planned that way, but it's a pretty good hallway. And then he looked at the freight elevator and said, come on, use the freight elevator too. And I went,
that was a great shot.
Just finding that hallway and walking up and down it with the director and saying, holy cow, is this good?
Yeah.
And I think it really made that shot.
Me too.
All right, well, listen, we've had a lot of great behind-the-scenes talk. I actually have a tear having some memories now. We're going to cut to commercial. We'll be back with some juicy stuff.
I may be the champion, but I can't do this alone. I need you. All of you.
All right, thanks for coming back. We're going to get some really juicy stuff, but first, this is like my moment for a sec, because when I put my kids in bed every night, I always ask them, what was the best part of your day and what was the toughest, worst part of your day? It's a great question to ask at night when they're all comfy and cozy, because you get a lot of great answers. I want to ask you guys the same question. Alter it a bit to what's the best part about working on the show? What's the toughest part about working on the show?
Well, the best part, well, I mean, working with these people, they're the best. I have the most fun. And as I've said to everyone I've talked to in the last 4 years, this is the best set I've ever worked on. So every day is a great day. Worst thing? Yeah, geez, it's okay. Occasionally a vest is hard to keep done up. Really, I haven't really got much of a complaint in the way.
Yeah.
Well, I keep doing it up again. And it undoes.
Oh.
I can't even.
What a nightmare.
I know.
I think about this like quite a bit. I feel like I won the job lottery a little bit with this job. I do. Not just because I love the character. I love who I get to play. It's really different from any character I've ever played before. I think that we do have the best casting crew in the business. I really do. And I think that it's like the fact that we've gone now 3 seasons is pretty incredible.
The toughest part is saying goodbye at the end of the season, because you don't even though we know we're probably coming back, usually, you never know for sure.
There's always a last one.
Exactly.
You never know when
exactly.
that is,
So
though,
it's like
right?
we're saying goodbye, and we're saying goodbye to the crew and to all the people that we love, and even the fans, because the fans have become part of this family.
I don't know what the hardest thing about it is. I mean, yeah, the hours are grueling, especially for Anna. You know, when you're doing 70 to 80-hour weeks, keeping the energy up is the hardest thing. Usually when you perform something, it's like little short bursts, but it's day after day after day, and I guess that would be the hardest part. But luckily, I'm number 2, so I get a cushy schedule most of the time.
I agree with you guys. I think we're so spoiled with our crew and fellow castmates. We're so lucky. Also, I think an amazing part is the fans from all over the world.
Now, you guys did have a fan experience about your relationship, hey?
We've had several.
Two?
Yeah.
Besides, actually, the 16 million viewers on your YouTube video.
I know.
I was really quite surprised.
I have to say that's probably one of the things I'm most proud of. I mean, there's many things I'm proud of about the show, but I think I love hearing from young girls and young women talking about how they're seeing themselves represented on the show. Even though it's a supernatural show, they're seeing, you know, who they could be or the kind of relationship that they want or could have or they're having. And they don't really see that represented everywhere. And it's represented in a really organic, real way. You know, that's always been important to us.
Well, the relationships on this show are real, right?
Yeah.
The world is kind of this fantasy world, but the connections between us all are really genuine.
Yeah, and I think our connection is something that you don't often see.
Well, we got a fan question that and I'm curious if we've dealt with this a bit, but maybe we can pop into it for a sec. How have your characters affected you personally? Have you changed? What have you learned from your own character? I mean, we just talked about what you've shown the audience, but have you learned anything from you? And I think, Anna, you did answer that a little
bit,
right?
yeah. Like, I've definitely learned to be stronger. I definitely carry, like, you know, on a Saturday, if I'm going grocery shopping after filming all week, I sometimes will do behaviors that are very Beau-like. You know, if someone's sort of chatting behind me in line and I find them kind of annoying, I'll sort of turn and give them this look, you know, like I could pull a knife any second. And then I'm like, what am I doing?
Or you get super sucked on them.
Yeah, or if I hear a noise in the house, I'll be very stealth about how I'm approaching the room. And I'm like, my God, I'm Beau. I can't get away. But yeah, she's influenced me in the best possible way.
We take a lot of pride in making sure every symbol on the show has some rooting in mythology. You've got your own tattoos. Everybody asks, what do they mean? What are they? What's their significance?
Well, there's 2 tattoos. One is my own, which is a personal one I got a long time ago. But the interesting one that I like is Ian Brock, our production designer, found, which is the one that's on my shoulder. And the cool story behind that is it comes from hobo symbology. In the old days, or in the 20s or 30s, the hobos would go around, if they found a place where they get a free meal or free place to sleep, they would scratch a little symbol on a post or something. And this one is the teeth of the dog, and what it is beware, there's a vicious dog here. And somehow...
I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that either.
That's so cool.
It was an interesting looking symbol, and it just works so well with the character.
Got a question from Kelly. How do you like working with Chris and Zoe when it comes to them being your pursuers?
Well, I don't think a girl can really get much luckier than having these two as my suitors. It's a pretty, you know, comfy triangle, I have to say.
We're all a little jealous.
I could have had a twin. That would have been luckier.
That's true.
Can we do that for like season 6?
Yeah,
I actually have an identical twin doctor. She's a vet.
Working with Chris has been amazing. You know, Dyson was probably one of the first people, except for Kenzie, that Beau connected to. Definitely the first Faye that she connected to.
We don't have time for this. You need all of the strength you can get, so take some of mine.
I want to kill you?
Just kiss me.
And there was something about him that she just knew right away was... She could trust him, even though she didn't fully trust him. There was something that felt grounded, and so she was drawn to that. And then, you know, Hot Lips Houlihan here walked in to the room to examine me, and there was just this instant attraction that I think Beau couldn't quite figure out.
Now, as your doctor, I should recommend against excessive intoxication.
I'm not a guy, so I can promise you, booze does not affect my ability to perform.
We'll come back and we should address, we've got a lot of fan questions. We should get through some of them. Right.
Check me out. Kicking it in the Wolf Man. Yeah.
Whatever you need me to do.
Go undercover in high school.
Oh, no, except that. Oh, no. See, I didn't do great with 16-year-old girls when I was 16.
Welcome back to the set of Lost Girl. I'm Jay Firestone. We're sitting here with the cast, and we're about to answer some fan questions. The question is, what are your favorite episodes?
Oh, gosh.
I loved Dyson as a guidance counselor. That was awesome.
In The School's Out?
Yeah.
School's Out, yeah.
That was really funny.
Look, kid, you're 17. You don't even know how young you are yet. Just go out, play the field, have fun, make love, be crazy.
Are you sure?
Yes, it'll do you good.
I think everyone agrees that 209 was one of our, like, we just had such a great,
It was so much fun.
as a cast, we all, like, got together, helped each other out. It was such a sense of camaraderie.
And it was kind of a risky episode for us, too, because it could have, it could have just not worked.
Oh, I'm not Bo, darling.
No. I am.
But it worked extra well.
Do you guys remember the read-through?
Michael Cram?
Like, who's who? Are you? I'm you as me, and you're me as you.
Yeah, we had paddles. We had paddles. I got the wolf junk, babe. Oh.
Don't touch it. Don't touch anything.
Sorry.
Kenzie?
Check me out. Kicking it in the Wolf Man. Yeah.
Kenzie, go sit down before you break something.
Roger. Wow, did you hear my voice? That was like so sexy. Roger.
Sit.
The pairing of you guys when you switched, that wasn't the first draft. We went back and forth as to who should switch with who. I'm not going to tell you what the first chances were.
I'm happy with who I ended up with, man.
Yeah.
Thank God I got to play a little bit of Kenzie because, you know.
Get to play the real you. That's
you know, like everyone says, Dyson's so serious and so dour. I was like, oh, this is like a window of little fun that I could have. It was great.
This is from Jan Braun. It says, the romance with Ryan, who's Dark Fae. We're reminded that we take Bo's allegiances to the Light Fae for granted. Do you think that we'll see any more moments when the line between light and dark are blurred? I think that Ryan reminds us that we're assuming certain things when it comes to the Dark Fae.
We are not Romeo and Juliet. We're not star-crossed lovers. We're just two kind of amazing people who really like each other.
Anthony Lemke, right?
Anthony Lemke, who was really great. And you know what? As a person, his energy is really frenetic. And that's what he brought to the character. And I had to keep up with that, which I think made Bo curious. And, you know, it really kept her on her toes. So I think realizing that he was Dark Fae, especially after they had sex, kind of made her see that it's not so black and white.
I thought you were unaligned.
I am.
So what's the problem? You think all Dark Fae are bad? All Light Fae are good? Is that it?
No, it's just the Dark have not exactly been my BFFs.
Well, I'm not defined by my clan.
I think he was a great addition to the show and a great, you know, really shook things up for Bo.
Me? Thought you'd never ask.
This is a very interesting question, and it's for Ksenia, because it says there have been a few hints about Kenzie's family issues, because we use that in the script. But Ksenia is involved with the no bullying campaign. All right? Did Ksenia's involvement influence that being included in Kenzie's history or vice versa?
I feel like Kenzie was definitely bullied, whether it was, you know, when she was a small child at school, at home. I think that's why she's as tough as she is today, because she really had to defend herself, I think, from a very young age. And me, as Ksenia, I was bullied. So I have a real soft spot for, you know, doing whatever I can to stop that and, you know, to help other kids so they don't have to deal with that, so they can go to school and feel safe and not have school feel like a war zone where you have to defend yourself and protect yourself. It's a really horrible feeling. And some kids get to the point where they end their own lives because they can't deal with it. And I don't know if Kenzie ever got to that point, but I would like to explore her backstory and her family and see, you know, what kind of things she had to deal with. But if Kenzie ever became like a campaigner to stop bullying, I think that would make me very happy.
Well, a few little fun questions. This one I like. This is just a statement, so I want to read it. It says, this show treats the audience as adults. Mm-hmm. Thank you, it says. I really enjoyed it so far and hope it continues.
We have a lot of, you know, lessons, I guess, on the show, but we don't treat them in a saccharine way, and we don't insult the audience when we give those messages. You know, they're true to the characters.
I think the writing really respects, like you were talking about it as well, about like the lesbian character. It's not pointed out at, and I don't think you know, my difference in society isn't pointed out in the show, which I think is fantastic.
Oh, it's great, right? That's what everyone wants.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, I mean, you spend your career kind of occasionally compromising yourself to get work, to get a job, and it's really nice to be in a position in a role where you're given so much respect by the writers, by you, by the production, and it's really nice to have that in the writing and in the show.
Did you try Wikipedia?
You think this is funny?
No, I think you look like you needed a joke.
So all the way from Australia, what does Zoe think of all the comments she gets about her hair and arms? LOL. Let's laugh out loud for anyone. Did she ever think playing Lauren would lead to a sex symbol status?
Has it? Has it led to that?
Yes, it has.
I don't know. It's you know, it's what can I say about that? It's
you have amazing arms and amazing hair.
Thanks.
So I mean, that's
ladies and gentlemen, icon.
I feel immediately uncomfortable. Is how I feel. Yeah, it's lovely and complimentary, and thanks. That's how I feel.
All right, makeup, take care of the blushing, please.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks, everyone. That's great. We're going to come back for the last section of this with some real fantastic teases to season 3.
Ladies, we've got company.
I got this.
You're sitting with Jay Firestone, the cast of Lost Girl, and we are going to give you a little bit of a hint of what's coming up in season 3. I'm going to hit Chris up first, and I'm going to say, now that you got your love back, what does that mean? Where's it going?
God, well, you know, Dyson is in love with Bo, and he's gonna live with that for the rest of his days. So we'll see what he can do with it. He also knows
he can do nothing.
Nothing, exactly. You know, it's a whole different ballgame for Dyson right now. He has his love back, but he also knows that Lauren and Bo are in love with each other. So we'll see how he negotiates that.
I love you. All. So much.
Ksenia, you got this really yucky rash on you.
Yucky.
Yeah, what it's about?
Well, there are consequences to every action, and I think tenfold in this situation for Kenzie.
Yeah, I wish I could get rid of this pain in my arm.
Whoa.
What is that?
I don't know. Did you come in contact with something? You should definitely let Doc take a look at that.
No. No, I'm fine. I'm just gonna get some air, okay?
Zoe.
Hello.
Ooh, big kiss in 22.
The biggest.
You think you got a shot?
I don't know. I think that Lauren, as much as she wants a shot with Bo, also knows what Bo is, and I think that along with any open doors for these characters come all sorts of other possibilities, and I think so it's always a bit of a catch-22. So maybe she does, but I think that if she does, then it's also a bit of a scary road.
Casey?
Sounds good.
Casey, you hit him pretty hard. Okay, that sort of like relationship got a little tense towards the end. We gonna see a bro makeup moment?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna hope for the best, and you know, hopefully the relationship can stand the test of time. I open my eyes. 2 of her, man. Yeah.
A Gemini?
Yes. Both of them dropped their gorgeous. Both of them wanted it bad.
Just the way you were qualified to deliver, my friend.
Rick?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Beau's granddad?
Through season 1 and season 2, all of these things coming at her and the Fae, and she's learning all this stuff, and it's all kind of this external stuff coming at her, and Lauren and I kind of guiding her through it with all the information of what she needs to tackle them. And then I think in season 3, you're going to see a little more of an internal struggle with her, and she's going to need her granddad even more, I think.
All right, Anna.
Yes.
As you left the dial, you looked in that mirror, and I don't think we've ever seen your eyes go that blue.
No.
And you liked it.
I did.
Are you seeing a dark side?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that, you know, that there's room for a dark side. And we definitely see an element of that in season 3. You know, Beau has probably the biggest challenge of her life. Physically, it's the hardest challenge for her. Mentally, her mental strength is really challenged. And emotionally, because it actually challenges all of her relationships. Her lovers, her friends, her family. And so that darkness is definitely explored in a deeper way. But might not mean exactly what people think.
Can I actually just interject? I've been sitting here this whole time and there's something, like, have you dyed your hair?
No.
You got a bit of a glow about you, I must admit. Like, what's going on here?
The same thing, but I didn't want to be the first to say something.
No, it's just there's something. There's a twinkle. Really? Are you wearing like color contacts or something?
No, maybe it's the color. I don't usually wear green.
You do this.
I don't know. It's just the whole time I've been like,
it's not the.
No. Well, I have a little bit of a belly.
I didn't want to say anything, but
that might be different.
I told you.
But yes, I am.
Food combination.
It's not bloating. I'm expecting my first baby.
I'm going to be a great grandfather.
Now listen, I promised the audience that we'd tease them about season 3, and it is quite the season. It's a riot. I mean, there's a roller coaster ride. Everybody goes through some pretty big changes, and I'm more excited about it. You guys excited about it?
Yes.
Very.
All right, okay. They're excited about it. We're excited about
Wildest season yet.
roll it.
Hey guys, where have you been? Wicked Norn. What did you do to me? Get out of my way. Ooh.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I want to thank the writers, and I want to thank the crew. This is the most fun I've ever had, and I hope you're having fun too.
Ditto.
We're having a great time.
Blast.
Keep writing us on Twitter, Facebook, all over the internet. Keep it up, guys.
Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for watching.
Enjoy the show.
All right, now we can cheers. Now cheers.
Okay.